Today on Live from Ahch-To, a Star Wars podcast.
I don't like sand.
I'm a senator.
You wanna buy some death sticks?
I'm a senator.
I killed them.
Dum 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 dum.
You wanna buy some death sticks?
First you gotta do the truffle shuffle.
I hate them.
Come on!
Dum 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 dum.
I'm a senator.
It's not fair.
Come on!
Dum 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 dum
I'm a senator.
I don't like sand.
dum.
Welcome, troopers, to 2025 and Season 3 of Live from Ahch-To, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and we need Star Wars now more than ever. Today we're discussing Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, released almost 23 years ago. This installment is definitely my least favorite of the prequel movies. It's not well written, the CGI effects have not aged well, and overall it's simply not a good movie.
Garbage!
For comparison, I watched the Phantom Menace anti-cheese edit mentioned in our Menace Anniversary episode from last year, and I felt the edits made for a pretty decent movie, improving it on multiple levels. I mention this because there's also an Attack of the Clones anti-cheese edit, so I started watching that. And it didn't help.
Garbage!
There are far more issues with this installment that cannot simply be fixed with smart edits. As other critics and reviewers have said, I totally agree that George Lucas got Anakin and Padme's character motivations and relationship backwards. Padme should have been the one pursuing Anakin romantically, causing him to question everything he had learned from Obi-Wan Kenobi over the past 10 years.
Relax. Take a deep breath.
There are also a few scenes where Obi-Wan acts in a rather brash fashion that would have been much more suited for Anakin. And there's more. Oh, so much more. So what did you think of Star Wars Attack of the Clones? Was it an action-packed thrill ride laying the foundation for the Clone Wars while also having foreshadowing to the original Star Wars trilogy? Or was it a poorly written and contrived mess with bloated and pointless narratives with little to no character development? These perspectives and more on today's episode. So get a drink and a handful of sand as we dive into Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Our first guest today is Barry Matthews from Bromham, England. Thank you, Barry, for calling in today to talk about Star Wars Attack of the Clones.
Hello there, TJ. And did they, though?
Did they what?
The clones. Did they attack?
Yeah. I mean, there was that, the big battle at the end.
Yes, but they were led by Yoda to save the outnumbered Jedi, who were there to save Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Right.
Then Count Dookie Britches attacked with his mechanical, menacing mayhem of an army. See what I did there?
Yes, I did.
To which then Yoda arrived with the insane clone posse to save the remaining Jedi.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I ask again, did the clones really attack?
Well, I still say yes.
I will admit they were on the offensive during the Battle of Geono's Sausages, but the title is still somewhat misleading.
Okay, sure.
It's as if George Lucas just scribbled down a working title with his number 2 pencil, and they never went back to it.
I have beautiful, pristine yellow tablets. Ready to go. Nice fresh blocks of pencils.
Maybe.
Episode 2, The Sodding Merriments of Anakin Skywalker's Lost Youth. Now there's a title.
Okay.
Or, Episode 2, Travesty, Betrayal, and a Massive Wide-On, A Romance in Space.
Yeah, sure. So, getting to the actual movie...
This movie is all cocked the f*** up. I'm not certain it could have gone any other way other than simply terrible.
Oh, yeah? How so?
First, George Lucas is a prat.
Okay.
He's a prat and suffers from exhaustion and hypertension due to being a type 2 diabetic.
Wow, really?
Yes, when he was 23, he was actually drafted for the Vietnam War, but his medical condition disqualified him from serving.
Well, I guess that was lucky.
Lucky?
Yes, during his physical, right before he had to drop his trousers for the finger man.
Moon River.
Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
The doctors discovered he had type 2 diabetes and told him he couldn't go to Vietnam.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Type 2 diabetes, as you know, is a chronic condition whereby a person's pancreas does not produce enough insulin, or the cells do not adequately absorb insulin to regulate blood sugar.
Yeah, so...
Blood sugar is the main type of sugar found in food, carried through the bloodstream to all cells in the body to supply energy. Without the moderating effect of insulin, blood sugar levels keep on rising, however.
That's great. Getting back to Attack of the Clones...
There are two key aspects to managing blood sugar levels: diet and exercise, which George Lucas, being the prat he is, does neither.
Okay, getting back to clones...
You know, there's technically nothing you cannot eat if you have type 2 diabetes, but you'll have to limit certain foods.
Yeah, so, Barry...
And as a general rule, you want to avoid simple carbohydrates, commonly found in foods such as white bread and menudo.
And thank you, Barry, for calling in today to talk about...
Studies show that watching a beaver eat cabbage lowers stress by 17%.
Yes, that's great, Barry, and thanks for calling in today to talk about...
My initials are BM. That means bowel movement.
Yes, and thank you, Barry, for calling in today to talk about beavers, George Lucas, and his diabetes. Great to hear from you. And up next, we have William Drake Spellington from Ocracoke, North Carolina. Thank you, William, for calling in today to talk about Star Wars.
Thank you, TJ, and please be calling me Old Billy D. And it's pronounced Spellington.
Hey there, Billy D. What? Sorry?
Spellington. It's an old gnomish name.
I'm sorry, a what?
Gnomish. You know, like a gnome.
What, you mean like a gnome? Like with the beard?
Well, in old gnomish, you pronounce the G's. There ain't no silent, no superfluous letters in old gnomish.
Okay.
Aye, so for example, the phrase, I'm going to the store to fetch some butter and some cheese, would be in old gnomish, I'm going to the store to fetch some butter and some cheese.
Okay, so, Billy...
It's a Billy D.
Right, sorry. Billy D. Getting to Attack of the Clones...
You know, I'm not particularly fond of that one. Anakin was a wee bit of a crybaby, you know.
He's overly critical. He never listens. He doesn't understand. It's not fair.
Have you seen Skellington Crew yet?
I'm sorry, the what?
Skellington Crew. The one with Jude Law as a pirate captain.
Oh, Skellington Crew. No, I haven't watched that one yet.
Well, it's be a fine show. Well worth your time.
Yes, I've heard really good things. It's on my list.
Me favourite be the pirate droid, SM-33.
Some will call me SM-33.
Yarn, that spells Smee. Like Mr. Smee.
Smee! Save me, Smee, please. Don't let him get me, Smee, please.
Mr. Smee from Peter Pan? Huh, I get it. That's actually pretty funny.
I understood that reference.
Yar, the show also reminded me a bit of the Goonies.
This is Willie. Why, Willie? Say hi, Willie.
That was about pirates, too.
Wow, I haven't seen the Goonies in... decades. Jeez.
Yar, the kids in Skellington Crew had a similar vibe to the kids in Goonies.
What do you want?
We'll have two of whatever he's having.
What do you want?
Lots of water.
4 waters.
Okay, cool. Getting back to Attack of the Clones...
Ah, there were no pirates in it.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me.
No.
Needed more pirates.
Maybe.
TJ, who's your favorite pirate?
My favorite pirate? I don't have one.
Oh, yar, I'm the same way. I love 'em all.
That's not what I meant.
William Teach.
What?
Or your privateer man. Like Sir Francis Drake.
Yeah, so hey.
He circumcised the world with a 100-foot clipper.
And thank you, Billy D, for calling in today to talk about gnomes, pirates, and the Goonies. Great to hear from you. And up next we have Jeffrey Albuquerque from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thank you, Jeffrey, for calling in today to talk about Star Wars, Attack of the Clones.
Thanks for having me, TJ.
Yeah, of course, Jeffrey. So, what are your thoughts on Attack of the Clones?
I like how, when the clones are, they get, their giant ships, with the miniguns on the wings.
Oh, yeah, those are cool. Those were the drop ships.
Actually, basically, I have, like, some souvenirs. Like, I have, like, a dropship toy, maybe a dropship...
What kind of dropship toy is it?
It's like, you get a figure and you put it in, and then attach a rope to the figure, put it in, attach a rope to the figure, and then it drops the figure. Get a figure and you put it in, attach a rope to the figure, and get a figure and you put it in, and then automatically fires a bolt. Attach a rope to the figure, and it drops you got.
Wow, that sounds like a very cool toy.
I also, I have, like, the recipe to make the fish crackers.
Fish crackers?
And I made my own clone trooper fish crackers.
Oh, those sound good.
Yeah, they leave cheese dust on your fingertips.
Oh, yeah, of course they do.
Yeah, they're like the mango ones, but much tastier. I like putting broccoli on it.
Broccoli?
Broccoli!
Yeah, I kinda like broccoli.
Broccoli!
But I still like carrots more.
Oh, carrots are divine. You get a dozen for a dime.
Okay. Getting back to Attack of the...
I have a few questions.
Okay.
Why don't the troopers sometimes take off their helmets?
Well, the clone troopers took their helmets off sometimes, and stormtroopers typically didn't.
And who gave you permission to remove that helmet?
I got one final thought.
Okay.
I also have, like, a lot of plastic.
You have a lot of plastic?
You know how much plastic?
No.
Like 1,000 pieces.
You have 1,000 pieces of plastic?
Yes, and I made, like, all the armor, and I, like, sell it on eBay.
Okay. Cool. Do you have any final thoughts on Attack of the Clones?
And that's it.
Okay, Jeffrey, thank you for calling in to talk about eBay, broccoli, and your cheese crackers. Great to hear from you. And finally, we welcome Ronald Humphreys from Cloud Lake, Florida. Thank you, Ronald, for calling in today to talk about Star Wars Attack of the Clones.
Hey there, TJ. How's it going?
Pretty good. Hanging out, talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, so is Kathleen Kennedy going to retire or what?
Kathleen Kennedy? I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with that.
Because she really needs to go, you know? Am I right?
I don't know.
I mean, the only things she's done right is Rogue One, Andor, and season 1 of Mando.
Okay.
I mean, really, the book of Boba Fett, the acolytedness, I mean, really, come on, how woke can you get?
Yeah, sure. But getting to Attack of the Clones...
Wow, yeah, really, that movie is dumb as right?
Dum 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 dum.
Yeah, I agree. It's not great.
Garbage!
Yeah, as dumb as it was, though...
Dum 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 dum.
I think the prequels should have started with this one.
Yeah, I've heard that thought before.
Yeah, Phantom Fecal Party didn't really do anything for me. They should have started with Clones and broke Revenge of the Sith into 2 movies.
Okay.
That would have given us more Clone Wars with a slow build of Anakin's turn and not the rushed switch flip that we got, you know?
Yeah, they could have handled Anakin's turn to the dark side a little bit better.
As far as clones, though, Anakin was too much of a whining crybaby.
He never listens. He doesn't understand.
Am I right?
Yeah, Anakin's character wasn't really developed that well.
I hate them.
And 3PO's origin was further done a disservice, you know? It seems like they swapped all of Jar Jar's comedy bits for 3PO and clones.
What are you doing? Oh, stop that! You're going to strain something. My neck!
Oh yeah, I agree with you there. That's another good point.
I got a Jar Jar tattoo on my ass before Phantom Meningitis even came out. That was a mistake, you know?
Okay.
And I also think a separatist movement should have been the seeds of the rebellion. That's totally what I thought was happening when Count Dooku's Pants had Obi-Wan in that force field thing, you know?
What if I told you that the Republic was now under the control of the Dark Lord of the Sith?
No, that's not possible. The Jedi would be aware of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I could see that.
Yeah, so after the Clone Wars ended, some of the separatist systems could have rallied together to continue to fight the Empire as the rebellion, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me.
And Darth Tyrannosaurus should not have been Lord Sidious's apprentice. I was disappointed how that played out, you know.
Yeah, I think George Lucas was kind of going for a twist or something, but it was a little obvious what was going on.
And the lightsaber fight with Yoda was ridiculous. I mean, what the you know?
Dum 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 dum.
Yeah, they really need to make Yoda great again, you know?
Yeah, it always seemed to me that Yoda was a Jedi that was so in tune with the Force and so powerful that he wouldn't need a lightsaber.
Yeah, I mean, just like what Ezra did in Ahsoka, you know?
It's your lightsaber, take it.
No. The Force is my ally. That's all I need.
He was offered a lightsaber, and he said, "No, I have the Force." You know.
Wow, pretty cool. I still haven't watched Ahsoka yet.
Oh yeah, I like to watch that one while I was on the can after I had a chili dog with extra onions or some chipotle for lunch.
Okay. Getting back to clones.
I do like what Palpatine did, tricking Jar Jar into proposing Palpatine be granted emergency powers.
This is a crisis. The Senate must vote the Chancellor emergency powers.
But what senator would have the courage to propose such a radical amendment?
Misa propose that the Senate give immediately emergency powers to the Supreme Chancellor.
That was genius. I really need to look into that.
Okay.
I could really use some emergency powers, you know? Yeah, I really need to find my Jar Jar, maybe Ted or Lindsay. They're pushovers, you know?
Okay. We're running short on time. Do you have any final thoughts on Attack of the Clones?
I can't decide what's worse, this movie or the after effects of having Chipotle for lunch.
Chipotle?
Yeah, I usually forego the colonoscopy prep kit and go straight for Chipotle.
And thank you, Ronald, for calling in today to talk about...
I'm always constipated, but I like it. I like the pressure.
Next time on Live from H2, a Star Wars podcast.
Where are you from, children?
At
Hatton. At Hatton?
Can't say I remember no at-atting.
They're from Hatton. At Hatton?
Up and at 'em.
At Hatton.
Up and at them. Can't say I remember no at-atting.
There is no map to At Hatton.
At-atting.
At Hatton.
Up and at them. Can't say I remember no at-atting. My eyes, the goggles do nothing.